Most people think childhood trauma is only about what happened to you, but sometimes the deepest wound is what never happened, the comfort you never got, the attention you never received, and love you had to earn. You can have a demanding job, a family, friends, and full responsibilities, yet still feel completely unseen. You can do everything correctly on the outside while carrying a quiet ache on the inside, wondering why, when nothing is visibly wrong, you feel completely empty. Emotional neglect is often invisible. It happens when you are fed and clothed, but your sadness is ignored, your fear is dismissed, and your needs are an inconvenience. You learn early on that your inner world only matters if it is quiet or useful. A child cannot look at their environment and conclude their caregivers are emotionally unavailable. Instead, a child assumes something must be wrong with them. To survive this, the subconscious steps in and begins writing a survival code. This emptiness is the result of that subconscious code prioritizing external harmony over your own internal world. It's a logical response to a childhood environment where being emotionally known was never an option. Let us look at the first survival program emotional neglect installs: the belief that your needs do not matter. The brain learns to minimize its requirements, teaching you to apologize for taking up space and guaranteeing you are never a burden to your caregivers. Program 2 dictates that you must be useful to be loved. You become the perpetual helper and emotional caretaker, confusing connection with being needed. You perform heavy emotional labor, starving yourself while trying to fix everyone else. Program 3 establishes a core fear. If you express yourself truthfully, you will be rejected. You hide disappointment. You make your pain sound smaller. You learn that asserting a boundary creates distance, so you smile to keep the relationship stable. Program 4 enforces the exhausting rule that love has to be earned. Affection is never freely given. It is a reward for flawless performance. You wait patiently, hoping that if you become more forgiving and more accommodating, they will finally choose you. This diagram illustrates Program 5. If you grew up around emotional distance, calm enters the system as a code error, outputting danger. The brain creates a workaround, routing chaos into an output of safety, relying on familiar tension to feel alive. These 5 programs kept you safe as a child, but in adulthood, they function as a corrupt operating system, quietly sabotaging your boundaries, your self-worth, and your relationships. This corrupt code drives toxic attraction. It draws you directly toward narcissistic or emotionally unavailable dynamics because your nervous system actively seeks out the dynamic it was programmed to navigate. To a dysregulated nervous system accustomed to chasing affection, a consistent, calm person feels suspicious. Someone healthy feels boring, but someone distant, unpredictable, or highly critical feels intensely magnetic. When a toxic partner gives you tiny crumbs of attention, your brain registers it as profound relief. It perfectly replicates your childhood environment of emotional starvation, making those rare moments of connection feel like the exact emotional food you were waiting for. Eventually, the system breaks down. You ignore your own signals for so long that your body becomes a stranger. You only realize you have needs when you hit total exhaustion, or realize you are lonely only when craving attention from someone hurting you. Accepting crumbs, ignoring red flags, and over-explaining yourself is not stupidity. It is your nervous system executing its pattern recognition programming flawlessly. Your brain can overwrite this old code. Through neuroplasticity, you physically rewire your neural pathways by exposing yourself to repeated, intentional emotional experiences. You practice responding to yourself in a completely new way. The first rewiring tool is the inner need check-in. Once a day, pause for 60 seconds. Put a hand on your chest and ask, what am I feeling and what do I need? The goal is to notice the emotion without shame and without rushing to fix it. Next is the evidence of enoughness. At the end of the day, record one single sentence proving you existed beyond your utility to others. You document that you rested, set a boundary, or felt sad, training your mind to value your inherent worth over your productivity. Third is the safe love filter. Evaluate your attachments by asking, do I feel calm or addicted? Do they respond to my feelings with care or punish me for having them? You use this to interrupt the habit of mistaking anxiety for chemistry. Fourth is the no craving pause. When the urge to chase an emotionally distant person hits, wait 10 minutes. Identify the underlying emotional need, whether it is comfort, certainty, or reassurance, and meet one small piece of it yourself in a healthy way. Finally, the child within reparenting sentence. Speak directly to the younger version of yourself who learned to stay quiet. Tell them, I see you now. I will not shame you for needing love. You create a protective, validating internal voice. Consistent use of these 5 tools creates the neuroplastic repetitions required to convince the brain that the environment of neglect is gone. Slowly, the emotional starvation shifts into self-connection. The emptiness stops feeling like a frightening hole and transforms into a doorway leading back to the authentic parts of you that were never welcomed before. You stop trying to prove you are lovable to people who cannot love you. You stop outsourcing your worth to emotionally unavailable partners, and you finally become emotionally available to yourself. Your emptiness represents a part of yourself that has spent a lifetime waiting to be seen. If this message spoke to you, subscribe for more videos about the subconscious mind, emotional healing, narcissistic abuse recovery, childhood wounds, and breaking the patterns that keep repeating in your life.